never gets easier.
Ooh.
Those stairs, they never get easier. But hey, when you get into this age, it's good to keep in shape. How are you, sir? You look well.
Good, thank you. It's nice to be here, nice to see you. I understand you've had a lot of driving this weekend. I hope it all went smoothly for you.
Yeah, we got there in the end, yeah. Little minis, not really designed to do huge long distances with 6'3" geezers driving them. But hey, do you know what? Every day's a school day. Shall we do some news?
Bring it on.
Right, so the first topic of news we've got coming up today, cracking read, I have to say. A little service over here, if you don't mind. Is that how you say it? Hey, a little service over here, it'd be great. I'm practicing my American accent, so when I'm over to see you guys, I can fit in. All about service and monitoring. And it's got for me, it's got a nice sort of balance between the recognition that commercial AV integrators are already taking, the service model. They've got service departments, they've got service techs, and they've already been taking this seriously for quite some time. But now, as we're shifting forward, and as we see, we'll talk about in the second news section, it's kind of going from hey, this is a great thing to have, to pretty much having, it's got to be in your business. And residential AV integrators often find this quite tricky. And as you know, Justin, I was a residential integrator many moons ago when this head was full of hair. And it was hard work. I mean, you had your own integration technicians, but then having a service tech was actually, quite a different discipline to have. And it was hard to try and pick that kind of business up, even though you knew that it was integral to not just the flow of money coming in, but also the value of the business. What was your take here?
I'm curious, did you have a dedicated service tech or service department in that business those years ago?
No, not dedicated, but we had two guys who kind of, they looked after it, if you will. They were integrators
Sure.
First time round, but then they were the guys that looked after all of the remote management systems and logging in and checking in with the clients and making sure that, we used to do it a little bit like you would service a car. So the client would have a logbook, and we'd say, look, we'll look at you pay for us to keep coming back and looking after your system, just like you would with your car, and your system will keep running smoothly. That was our idea, and it worked pretty well. But I'm really looking forward to hearing what Dan's got to say.
That was I think just the challenge this article talked about. He didn't come out and say it. He talked about how the average residential AV integrator is a quite small business, probably less than a dozen people on average. What he didn't say is that I think the average commercial AV business is much larger than that, especially these days with all the big mergers and acquisitions going on there. And I think it really is there's a certain size where there's a tipping point that you have enough recurring service revenue, you have enough recurring service issues that it makes sense that you can make service a full-time job for someone instead of, as you say, well, I've got an integrator and he has to take the service calls when they come in.
Right.
That's a challenge you have to live with at a certain small size.
It is, yeah, and you had to do it. Sorry, guys, got to just leave you to it just for a second. Got to go and ring Mrs. Miggins. She's got a problem with X, Y, Z. But then that was the all important part about making sure that we were getting in there first. Hey, your service is due for booking. We need to book it in for next month or whatever it might be. And it also gave us a little bit of power back again when, if a client, which they invariably do, you'll have seen this, guys, when the clients are saying nothing works, nothing's ever worked, and all that usual that they send you. But you say, well, hold on a minute, I'm just checking in here. You haven't let us come back to service it for well over a year or well over so many months. Did you treat your Aston Martin on the driveway the same way, Mr. Client? Did you not bother with that either? And once the simile was made between, okay, this is what you do with your car, this is what you do with your home entertainment system that you've spent a lot of money on. Once that penny dropped, then it became a lot easier to communicate the importance of maintenance and aftercare, as we called it back then. Mm-hmm. Shall we move into our second news topic? Moving on from there.
And there you are interacting with that client. Apologies, giving them a good experience, and that's the perfect segue to this second article.
It is.
Right?
It is.
A taken care of client is a happy client.
Yes. Hopefully, yes. Yeah, it's this for me is, you know, by taking on the managed services element, you know, that offering that for client retention. Again, I'm looking forward to hearing Dan's pro take on this. But for me, you know, do my clients need retaining? Do I need that retention element putting in because I'm going to lose them possibly? And while you think the answer may be yes, it's not a short thing to suddenly just say, hey, we're going to do some maintenance and aftercare. We're just going to charge the customers X amount of money and make sure that then certain things are covered. There's a lot of planning really does need to go in to creating like a maintenance and aftercare package in your business. So, you know, today is going to be really helpful for those of you that aren't really doing it or not sure if you're doing it the right way. Today is going to be a really useful stepping stone to hear what Dan's got to say. Because once you get it right, there are certain products in your pantheon. There are certain products that you install that don't go wrong very often. You know, and it's those products that we can, you know, begin to really include as part of the general everyday recurring revenue. These things aren't going to go wrong very often. So if you're paying us a monthly fee to make sure that we cover them if they do go wrong, then we're covered. You know, which bits of are you going to include a TV that's on a wall? So if that ever went down on Christmas Day, and, you know, we turn out and replace it for you, is that included? Can we cover it? Can we do it? So there's a lot to think about. Sorry, I'm going on here, but this is a great topic for me. A really good topic.
Near and dear to your heart.
Yeah,
I think any successful business realizes, without panicking, but realizes that they're always at risk of losing that client to someone else. And if your only model is to install the big system, collect the check, and then call back in 2 or 3 years wondering if they want something new, if instead you have a contract and a recurring business relationship, then you know who else are they going to turn to when it's time for an upgrade, when it's time to expand to their new office? You're going to be that first phone call. And I think that's another strong reason, besides keeping your own business in order, keeping your client list in order, keeping them happy, and keeping the install side of your business growing.